Yo, Joe. Talking comics, here's your host. It's A Real American Brian.
Hello, it's A Real American Brian, and Jonny's back with me, and we're going to talk about a G.I. Joe Saturday Morning Adventures.
I wore a G.I. Joe shirt last time I was on, so now I wore my Cobra shirt.
Okay, gotcha.
It's held up. I've had this for like 15 years.
My Storm Shadow shirt on.
So what does that count as?
Well, he has the Cobra logo, so he's still working for or with Cobra during this. But yeah, so Saturday Morning Adventures was put out not that long ago, 2022, by IDW, and it is in the cartoon continuity when they put it out. So that's very different, something that I think people were kind of asking, some people were asking for a long time, and we got it, and we're going to find out if it's any good. I will say before we get started, one like little thing that bothers me as a G.I. Joe comic collector is having the A Real American Hero subtitle on here, because that is the A Real American Hero continuity in comics. It makes it kind of hard if you're coming in later and just buying the trades, because that's where I was at and I was like buying them all. But occasionally they would put that subtitle on when it didn't really belong there, like G.I. Joe versus the $6 Million Man had G.I. Joe A Real American Hero, even though it had nothing to do with continuity or Larry or anything.
The cartoon though uses the subtitle though, right?
Right. So I forgive them this time for using it, but it still does add that little layer of confusion sometimes.
So let me ask you, Brian, sorry. Multiple identities. I look at it differently. I mean, you're obviously a more, prolific G.I. Joe comic collector. The way I look at it, if you're looking to talk about one storyline, I just look for Larry Hama and also A Real American Hero. So if the two go together, then I put it in that group. If they don't, something's different.
Yeah, I look at it as like a ease of use type tag. Like if I saw that, it'd be nice if I just saw that, like, okay, that's one of the ones I need to get, rather than like having to do that little extra bit. But that's not a judgment on this story at all. Like I knew what I was getting into when I bought these. So yeah, just something I wanted to point out more than anything else. But so I knew what I was getting into. I wanted to ask you though, to start off, when you first heard about this book, I think you waited for the trade to buy it, but you knew it was coming out as single issues. What did you think or expect of it?
Yeah, I thought right off the bat, it sounds like something I'd be into. Big fan of the cartoon. I mean, that was the cartoon and the toys were such a huge part, like with many of us, of our youth. So the idea of getting that in comic form, it was really appealing, because I do think, and we talked about this in the episode that we were on with the Silent Option review, there's an element of realism that happens in the comics that I'm okay with, and it's enjoyable. It makes for very compelling and semi-realistic storylines. But every now and then, I feel like, I kind of want to go with and I don't want to give anything away. We're going to go through this one, but there's a few moments where it's like, where you just want to yell at Cobra Commander, like, you got him, dude, you got him. It's done. Checkmate.
Well,
and it's like,
there's like realistic storylines, and then there's like edging into fantasy, and then there's like cartoon crap over.
Oh, I love it. Honestly, I don't, as much as I really like the normal series, I could easily read a whole series like this. I don't know if you know if more are coming out or anything else out there. Have they ever done this before or no?
No, so this was the first time, and unfortunately they did it, as the license was wrapping up with IDW. So there's nothing more planned right now. The new publisher could pick up and do it. And I think once we get to our reviews, we'll talk about that a little bit more as well. But I think this could have very well been like side by side with A Real American Hero, a very successful book every month. But it wasn't, or they didn't give it a chance until too late in the game, I think.
Time for some Real American Brian fan fiction. You take over the cartoon license.
Yeah, so when I saw it, my initial impression was, you know what, I'm going to uncheck myself. I'm going to get out of the Real American Hero and just embrace the cartoon. I know what this is attempting to be, and I'm going to embrace it and give it a chance and jump into it. I was a big fan of the cartoon as a kid, and I wasn't really following the comics as a kid. Then as an adult, it kind of flipped, where I'm much more a fan of the comics and don't really care for the cartoon as much. But I was willing to give this a chance, and I'm glad I did. But let's dive into it and flip through it and talk about it some more.
If you're watching at home, pull out your copy now and read along.
Yes. All right, so we have A Real American Hero, Saturday Morning Adventures. The cartoon didn't come on Saturday mornings. Bothers some people, but it was kind of a branding thing that IDW did, because they continued this with, they've done Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Saturday Morning Adventures, and any other license, I guess, they acquire throughout the way, that they will continue with that Saturday Morning Adventures. So that's why it's there.
One thing on that, I think that's just one of those Mandela effect things, that where we have a collective wrong memory, because
Saturdays.
There's a lot of that where it's like, oh, dude, I used to love Saturday morning cartoons, G.I. Joe, He-Man, and you go through them, and it's like, it wasn't, Right. So I think it's almost even though it's wrong, it feels right, and that's all that is.
It's very forgivable. You get like, it continues that whole attitude and feeling of what this book is going to be.
Well, weekday afternoon adventures doesn't sound right.
Right. After school adventures.
Oh, after school, which we'll get into. I love the
yes.
The PSAs.
So here's our creative team. Eric Burnman is the writer, Dan Schoening art, and Louis Delgado on colors. Then we get right into it. So this was I think this was cover A, but this was one of the main cover arts. I do like what they did with like a vignette type thing, showing off the cover there. So it's not the whole true like virgin cover art that you get in a lot of trades. It's kind of
separate. Is that the cover? You have that one or no? I
don't even remember. They made so many covers for these. I was just picking out the one I thought was coolest at the time. And I
might have to pick up one and maybe get a little slab action going on it.
Yeah, I will. Like when we get to the cover gallery in the back, I will show my favorite cover of the 4 that I do have.
Is it the rock and roll one? Yes. Not the guy rock and roll, but the band.
Right. It's so cool. I love that. All right, so we get into our adventure, and so we have the Cobra Temple. So right away we know, hey, we're not in A Real American Hero anymore. We're back in the cartoon, which it was so easy. Like reading through this, like I heard the voices and stuff as I was reading them. Like they did a phenomenal job with writing. It felt like a cartoon episode.
Is it because of, do you think, writing aside, I think because the art is so on point, I immediately was reading, yeah, and then like, Destro was like, oh, yeah. Like I read the voices in my head the entire time.
The whole creative team just absolutely knocked this out of the park. They did exactly what they intended to do. They did it so well. Like the art does look like, it looks like G.I. Joe the movie quality art. So it is a step up from the cartoons, but it's that same style and very cool. But we have Cobra collecting a little antique item here. We don't know what it is yet. And then almost immediately we have like the comedy aspects come in, and like Destro and the Baroness like talking about Cobra Commander behind his back, and the Dreadnoks like laughing and joking around. Like it just, like instantly, page 2, I'm already like, all right, we're watching an episode of the cartoon.
And it sets the stage for like Destro and Baroness like constantly eye rolling everything Cobra Commander does. Like, absolutely. Oh God, like it's almost like he's like their kid, and he's just always acting up, and they can't do anything about it.
But then we get to this, and Cobra Commander starts reaching for his gun. I was like, whoa, okay, maybe we're not in the cartoon. It's getting a little more real than
it's a different looking gun though, too.
Yes.
That was I noticed that one as well.
Here he is pointing it at see, this was a little confusing too, because it looks like he's pointing at the Dreadnoks, maybe because they just talked, but then he has the thing in the other hand.
I think when they were like, hey, what's going on? They saw him. It's instead of the panels, it's just as he was taking it out, like, whoa, we don't want any trouble, I don't think he pointed at them.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird because you can see that he's still holding it in the other hand, but he shoots it. So he blows up the little antique item that the Dreadnoks collected for him. And they're like, what the hell? You destroyed it. We're still getting paid, right? Blah, blah, blah. Same old stuff. And the lamp of Aladdin was hidden inside of it because, of course, it was.
Why are you eye rolling now? What is that?
A little bit. I mean, but I'm still in the cartoon state of mind, so I'm good with it. But yeah, a little bit of a stretch there.
So if it was a more realistic genie, you'd be okay.
No, I think it's for what it is. It's perfect. I'm going with it.
What if it was Jambi from Pee Wee's Playhouse? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know about that. That might be pushing things. I do really like this, like little extra art here where you see the reflection of the lamp in his mask.
I'll tell you, this art also makes me really excited to get the new Cobra Commander action figure coming with the hiss.
Yeah,
because it kind of gave me those vibes the whole time too.
The whole chrome dome style.
That's kind of offensive, but yeah.
Is it?
I mean, to me, I'm bald.
Okay. But he rubs a lamp and a genie comes out. And of course, the first thing he wishes for is ultimate power. And he gets the rules from the genie. I can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. Cobra Commander.
Did you know immediately it was going to be you're going to get screwed on the wishes thing? Like, I mean,
I think that's pretty standard from genies, right? they sit in that lamp and just plot these stupid things.
I know people say, make your first wish. I want to wish for like 1,000 more wishes, but I think the first wish should always be, I wish that the genie takes my intent and not my literal. Right. Make that your first wish. Set the stage for your next 2 to be good ones.
Then from there we go, and Destro's kind of whispering to Cobra Commander how to properly make wishes.
He knows.
Right. So the first thing he wishes for is gigantic bats, which
I love that. He goes, let me get a unit of them. Yes. And then it's like, dude, just ask for 1,000 of them. Like,
well, this is a scenario where he didn't get tripped up by the genie, because he could have asked for like gigantic bats and then got so many that it fills up the world or something, and he has no room left to live.
Oh, you mean the size of the bats?
Or, just the quantity, like they're freaking everywhere.
Well, no, I understand. He got stuck with 5, and then later it's addressed, but it's like,
yeah.
Instead of saying, give me a squad of bats, give me 1,000 bats, giant bats.
Yes, that would have been better. But I was always a big fan of the bats, the action figure and in the cartoon and stuff as a kid. I loved their introduction in the cartoon, because then the Joes could actually kill things. Yeah, because they're robots. You don't have to worry about it. There's no.
That's part about anything. You giving somebody an option to kill is always adds that extra element. Because it's not a person.
But initially here, I wasn't too excited. I was like, oh, they're not that giant. They're like twice the size of the guys. But we'll find out later how giant they are. And he knows exactly what to do with them. And then we have the pit and the cartoon style, completely different than the comic. Joes are here talking about everyday training type stuff. And Bazooka already is showing that he's cartoon goofball Bazooka. And they're attacked.
He's not the biggest goofball in this whole story, though. There's several Joes that are like, all right. Like, yeah. This isn't like, your open mic night, you guys.
Right. So the pit gets blown up and Mainframe has to figure it out. Oh, I think I just figured it out. Oh, because you locked into the cameras outside and looked? Okay. I mean, that wasn't too hard, was it? But yes, now we see the size of the bat compared to the pit. They are quite huge.
Yeah.
It's 100-foot tall bat, we're told. And Bazooka clarifies big robot.
Well, then they have all the, everything else to show its scale in a second. So
yes, and then we get our first Yojo of the comic, which is pretty cool, as they're all running out. And Roadblock is rhyming as he does in the cartoon. If you can fly, get your butts in the sky.
Yep.
And this is really cool. The whole dog fight with like the giant bat is just super awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
like all the scene, like throughout the whole thing. Every time that happened, I was like, I don't know, I was there. I was all in. But then we have them shooting the bat and it not really being that effective. And then Ace says he has an idea, which makes Duke nervous.
Of course. It's like nothing else is working. Listen to the man.
Right. So then Ace is turned himself into a kamikaze pilot and gone after the back of the knee. Oh, I guess we do see him here. I didn't see him until this is the first time I noticed, but he does eject earlier. I noticed he ejected in the next panel over here, but I didn't notice that he's actually out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So he hits him in the back of the knee, and that's a weak point for the bat, and tears apart the leg and takes the bat down. So
then they're going to get like tow cables around him and make him collapse.
Yeah, very similar, but it works. So then, of course, Corporate Commander's pissed off. And then this is the fun thing where he's complaining about the size or the number of bats in a full unit. And Destro points out that possibly the person who haggled me about their cost affected the unit size.
Well, that's also the classic, I'm mad about something. Well, you caused what you're being mad about. I'm here to remind you of that. Like, ah!
And the genie, being super helpful, is like, well, you can fix all that with the second wish if you want. And
was there ever a genie action figure or no?
I don't think so.
I was hoping maybe like a fan created one.
I mean, we'll see. Maybe.
Is this the genie's first appearance, by the way?
As far as I know.
So this is worth more, right?
Sure. I'm sure everyone's going to be looking for Genie's first appearance in G.I. Joe.
Genie's not his code name. That's his real name.
Okay.
His code name's like, I don't know, Wishman, you know?
Okay. Wishman. I like it. But then Destro and Baroness have a little side conversation about these force fields that he's created, and they pull up schematics of the bat and decide to augment the bats by putting these force fields on all the weak points. Kind of seems like if you knew all the weak points of the bat that you would have fixed that in the design there, Destro, but that's okay. So then a week later, Sci-Fi is taking apart the bat that they downed, and they're trying to figure out how they made bats so huge, and he pulls out one of the chips. He's like, well, they must have been enlarged because you can't make computer chips this huge.
That's a fact.
Yep.
I've seen computer chips inside of a computer, and they are small.
And then we have Cobra Commander putting something out on the airwaves, his message to the world. And I did appreciate this. He mentions that the governments of the world have never taken the threat of Cobra seriously. And then he mentions the mass device and the Pyramid of Darkness, so references to story arcs in the cartoon. I thought that was pretty neat. But then he shows off the size of the bats. And the Joes are all cocky. It would be a lot more impressive if we just turned one into a scrap heap.
Yeah.
And he blows one up. And then in the demonstration of the bats, Cobra sends a message to the Joes and shows how the weak point has been covered by the force field.
So you were saying that Destro should have put the force field on when they were regular sized bats. So when you enlarged them, they already had the force field enlarged with it.
Well, I mean, that's definitely an idea. Or how about just a force field around the entire bat when they're small? Or just armor plating the weak points of the bat's armor that are weak points.
Cobra Commander could have been like total ballsy move and be like, my first wish for Destro to do his job.
Yeah. So then Cobra announces that he has selected 3 cities for destruction: Paris, Tokyo, and Washington, D.C., unless Cobra is paid $1 billion.
That's
Very
fair.
awesome.
I mean, if this was the comic, it wouldn't have been billion yet. It would have been like 10 million.
Right.
So
yes.
I'm happy that they didn't, do the whole Austin Powers thing. I think $1 billion is good now.
Yeah, especially as we get into it a little bit more. The Megabats have already been deployed, so Joes need to get on it and get to work. So of course, the flag is close to Tokyo already, and they have guys working close to Paris, so they have teams everywhere they need to be, and they put them together and get to action. So that is the end of the first issue of the miniseries. And then we get something super cool, is a PSA.
Did you know about this before you read it or no?
I didn't.
Me neither. I loved it.
Especially, I think this one was my favorite, but yeah, like them putting in there was, I don't know, extra cherry on top of everything that was so good about this issue. But do you have your copy with you? Do you want to perform this?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. Do you want to be the kid or do you want to be Mainframe?
Let me see who has cooler lines. I'll be the kid.
All right. So Gijoe presents Something to Know.
What? This isn't what I wanted to happen. The people who made this are stupid. What's going on the internet? I'm going to tell everybody how stupid they are. And then, my computer.
Having some trouble?
Hey, Mainframe.
Sounded like you were about to be pretty harsh there before your computer mysteriously crashed. The internet is a powerful tool for communication, but we don't need to attack others for a difference of opinion, especially over a story. That can make us the bad guy in our own story.
Yeah, I should look up boobies instead. I don't want that. That's not in there. I don't want that, Mainframe. I guess it's good to cool down before I talk about things. Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle. Yeah, I don't know, the whole message there, he's reading a comic, like there's a little meta there, but overall.
I love, for the first PSA in a new style, how perfect to make the first one internet troll. Perfect.
Right? Yes, I loved it.
The only thing that would have been better would be Jay and Bob popping out saying, "You are the one."
Yeah. But then before we start issue 2, we get another of those cool cover images. And another one with the bat. And then we start straight in and we have images of the 3 cities that the Megabats are headed towards. And Cobra reassuring us that it's all going to plan. And he's going to sow terror and chaos and discord, all to the benefit of Cobra. Destro reassures us the force fields are working. And then Baroness asks a pretty simple question. Why bother with so clumsy a method of extortion? You have a genie. Why don't you just wish for the money you want? And Cobra clears that up, which is a fair question. The money isn't the point, Baroness. I want that what the genie won't grant, the fear, the influence for the world powers to realize that there's nothing they can do to oppose my will.
So I will say, for the first time in this story, Baroness was still, looking down on him like, "Oh, you idiot," and he acts like, no. I saw he wouldn't give me what I initially wanted, so I have another way to go about it. So I do like when every now and then Cobra Commander, he doesn't always have to get like verbally beats. It's good for him to get one too, Yeah,
and I have faith that there's a deeper layer to his plan already. Like, I'm on board. Like, okay, let's see where it goes.
He didn't have the cape in the first issue either, right? Or did he?
I think he did.
Oh, did he? Okay. I thought that was also kind of, he's in there. Okay. I was thinking maybe he got, it's getting a little tougher. You put that thing on, feel a little bad.
Now I need a cape. But then we have the twins, the Crimson Twins, that pop up here and tell us the bats have been deployed, or the Joes have deployed to the target cities and are approaching the Megabats.
I can't tell which one is which, though. That's the problem. If only there was something.
Yeah, like something on their face or something that would tell you.
Right, huge on his face.
And then Cobra Commander uses his second wish. For my second wish, I want upgraded weaponry for my most loyal soldiers. Upgrades that can't do any harm to me. So I thought, because I'm already looking for loopholes that the genie's going to have.
Oh, you were? Okay.
I thought the loophole was going to be the loyal soldiers.
Right. That was the obvious loophole, because he's going to find out no one's loyal to him.
Right.
And the answer is nobody gets the upgraded weapons.
And you even have, a couple panels later, Baroness and Destro kind of joke, his most loyal soldiers. Who does that leave?
Yeah.
So then we zap over to Paris and have Wild Bill here shooting what they have to know are going to be completely ineffective shots at the chest. That wasn't one of the weak points. Why are you wasting your time?
I don't think does he know at this point?
Well, I mean, it was Joe knowledge, so I think they should have told the other teams around the
I don't know if they had internet in Paris.
No? What about radios? Because they could have just
Actually, they don't have internet. I think mainframe has a bulletin board.
Okay.
At BBS.
I mean, according to, if we're going by this kid's computer and that's the technology we're working with.
Oh, yeah, that thing was like a VIC-20.
Yeah. But you get to see Flint, Lady J, Wild Bill, and Paris doing their thing. And
so were they on a date, by the way, before this happened, or no?
I think they had a date planned later that night.
Okay.
But they weren't there yet. So they shoot the knees because that's supposed to be one of the weak points, but the giant cloth of the bat exposes the joint, but it's completely ineffective. So I don't quite understand. The force field didn't protect the claws, but I don't know. It's best not to think too deeply about those things, I think, but
yeah, I
know. I did like this, I don't know, I always liked the bubbles because I had two, I think, as a kid, and they were always fun to play with. So I like seeing them. Yeah, so then the rest of the Cobra troops come into Paris to start fighting off the Joes.
They did find a way to get every vehicle, not every vehicle, but it felt like over time, every land vehicle, they smushed a lot of stuff in here. A lot of characters, a lot of vehicles, a lot of references, all in 4 issues.
A lot of Easter eggs and stuff. There's some characters that pop up later, I think issue 4, that I definitely want to point out that I was pretty stoked about. I popped a little bit when I saw them. So that's it. In Paris, we saw them realizing that, this is not the same easy bat that we took down before. So then we go over to Washington, D.C., and again, they're shooting the bat in the chest. Yeah, whatever. I hit that sucker dead center. Shields.
So there were 5 giant bats. 1 was destroyed. Yep. And then 3 were sent to the 3 locations. Where was the other one?
That is a fair question. I wasn't keeping track as I was reading this.
I wasn't either, but now I am, because it felt like you're like, now this one's here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. But then in Washington, D.C., we have Major Blood leading the Cobra troops there, which I forgot, his character, how different his character was in the cartoon until I started reading this. I was like, oh yeah, but him leading the Cobra troops, and he must be one of the loyal soldiers, which is different too. Then we have some.
Is the idea because he's like a brave bad guy? Is that the shtick there?
Yeah,
like,
I guess.
Like the lead from the front, and
yeah. Yeah, and then we have the Joes started to examine the force fields with some kind of, I don't know, binoculars that see force fields. But good on Scarlet for figuring that out. Then in Tokyo, we have the bat coming out of the water, Godzilla style. Super cool. And Quick Kick and Shipwreck have a fun back and forth talking about monster movies.
How come they were in Tokyo?
They were on the flag, and the flag happened to be close to Tokyo.
Okay.
That's all I got.
I'm just saying it's,
Yeah, I don't know.
Little on the nose there.
But at the end of their back and forth, Shipwreck says, "Hey, it's me." So did we show how effective their weapons were yet?
No, is that the Dreadnoks show that later, or?
Well, right here, Major Blood references it. I don't know where Cobra Commander got these weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Because I guess he blew up a tank with 1 shot. Because those are the weapons that Cobra Commander used his second wish for.
Yeah.
And then Shipwreck says, "Hey, it's me." So then the Dreadnoks start shooting up everybody. It looks like he's going after Quick Kick, but I guess just the gun platform Quick Kick was on. Was
Quick Kick known to joke a lot in the cartoon?
I don't really remember him joking a lot.
It was like it was a little too much at times. I thought it was just I didn't. Now again, might have been my ignorance. I didn't think he was the jokester though.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably should go back and watch some of the cartoons, but most of it I have to remember from being a kid, and that was a really long time ago. So a lot of holes in my memory there.
And you put all your childhood out of your memory anyway.
For the most part, yeah. All right, so yeah. Oh, so he actually this explosion is Shipwreck's gun platform. So this was pretty cool. Like, you have Cobra Commander celebrating the first domino has fallen and G.I. Joe has perished. And again, I was like, oh shit, like it's not the cartoon. Like, we're in a comic book. Like, they killed a Joe.
If I had a preference, they would have put the bottom panel on the next page.
Yeah, that would have been
because
nice.
my eyes glanced at that moment. I was like, oh, of course. But again, not going to die anyways.
Right. And then we have Cobra Commander saying that he wants the Megabass to crush all the others while they grieve. That's pretty badass.
That'd be something like, as a kid, I would repeat in school.
Right. Yeah.
I want to crush them as they grieve.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But we have Shipwreck walking out of the flames. He's alive. How?
Did his hat stay on or no?
Nope, his hat's gone.
Okay. So the hat burned?
Apparently.
Oh, man.
And, we don't have Polly anywhere here. I don't know if Polly was in. I don't know.
Let's
get to that.
We can't talk about that.
But then Cobra's like, what happened? You cheated me. The genie explains that you said you didn't want the weapons to affect me. And since Shipwreck said it's me, they couldn't affect him. Kind of silly, but we're in the cartoon world here. It works.
This was a loophole I didn't expect, but I mean, I still liked it, but it seemed a little like a stretch.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a stretch, but I mean, that's what you did in the cartoon.
But he said, I don't want the new weapons to affect me. And so then when it affected someone else and someone says, quick it, come with me. Right. That then activated the wish so they wouldn't affect him. Right.
But even like the statement itself, hey, it's me. He could be saying, hey, look in the sky, it's me. If that's where saying me is somebody's name. I don't know.
Once you find it out, then get Mainframe on the BBS, be like, from this point forward, all of our code names are me.
Right. Yes. But then you have Cobra Commander arguing with the genie and Destro. I think I'm beginning to like this genie. Shipwreck runs out, and now we see Polly. He's fine. And he already talks about his run of good luck. I mean, it's not really a run yet. That was like one thing.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Well, because, I didn't actually think about that line when it happened. So the good luck thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the good luck because he didn't die, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay.
So then we have the Dreadnoks flying after him, trying to shoot him down. We're shooting Zartan, but it's doing no good. Every shot just bounces off of him. So he continues pushing it, and then he flies straight towards a bat, and they all shoot the bat with their new super powerful weapons that do affect the bat. So then we have, Baroness and Destro talking about how this bat's going down. And then Cobra Commander says he will allow Zartan to sound a retreat. And he wants to check in on the other battles. But he says it very calmly, so I kind of feel like that's a hint that something else is going on, but not a strong hint.
It was a weird line, all right, let's check in on the other battles.
Right.
Like you're on a TV show, like a sports cast, and you're like, let's check in on some other games.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to DC, where Scarlet had previously used her special binoculars to see the force field. And Duke puts on a jetpack, and he's going to go weasel his way through the crack in the force field. And he does too, but he goes to the arm, which I thought was really strange too. Like, why wouldn't you go to the knee and look for the seam there? Like, why are we trying to blow a hand off? That's not going to stop the bat.
By the way, I just want to say, so we have these 3 locations, and we got maybe, I don't know, 4 to 5 Joes at each location. Were you surprised no Snake Eyes at this point?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. Because I mean, being used to the comics and being such a prominent feature of those, like you just kind of expect him to be there.
Yeah.
But I think we start getting.
They made it a point to have like the bunch of different groups, and then at the beginning they had them all there. I don't know what was like a meeting or something at the beginning. So I was just kind of thinking about that. I mean, we'll get to them, but it was just kind of surprising.
And we start to get like some cameos here of some other guys. So they're all there. They're just not on screen.
Who's on the right? I can't see.
Down here, we have Gung Ho.
Oh, no, above that.
Oh, Rock and Roll.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he was in that one.
But then Scarlet, oh no, Duke, look out. And the Bat reaches up and grabs him.
This should be the end of the issue. Like,
yeah,
he's dead. You can make him dead immediately. He just plays the card right.
And this is another opportunity where Destro and Baroness are kind of arguing with Cobra Commander. We have him, crush him, Commander. No, Baroness, he is worth more to me alive. And speaking of worth, like what the hell? Like you just kill him. Like, how is he worth more to you alive? I still don't understand. Like even like knowing how the story ends, he's not.
Well, he does. I mean, he wants to turn him later.
I guess, but I mean,
it's not. I mean,
it's kind of a petty thing.
Listen, I'm not a Duke hater by any means, but however, he's not that good where I gotta have him on my team. It's like screw him. He's dead. Like,
but then we have Cobra Commander speaking to all forces. You have performed admirably, most of you, but the plan is complete. Leave now and return to base. And everybody's confused. You know, the Crimson Twins here. Return to base, Commander. We're winning. Why should we retreat? Which is a fair question. Not retreat, strategically withdraw. So then we have the bats flying away. Everyone's still confused. Even the Joes. Just what was their game? I don't understand. They had us. Yeah, I don't understand either. Like even with the bigger plot, like just wipe the Joes out. This is your chance.
I mean, if he kills them all, there's no one left to fight.
So then the cartoon ends and
yeah.
But then he explains here it was all a misdirection. While all those battles were going on, he was raiding the gold reserves of France, Japan, and the US and stealing all the gold.
He's like, a ruse?
Yeah. A masterful plan, if I do say so myself. We sowed terror on the world stage, dealt G.I. Joe a crippling blow, and took a king's ransom. And tomorrow we begin again. So at this point, I'm like, dang, this Cobra Commander, he's really got it going on. Like, he played everyone for a fool, and he's right. You know, he did do all these three things.
Yep.
So respect to Cobra Commander here. And that's the end of issue 2. So we have another PSA. This one was kind of humorous. We can't really do a back and forth on this one, can we?
Well, I was thinking you could be the kid on this one. I'll be Snake Eyes.
Okay. But G.I. Joe presents, that's all you had to say. So the kids running out of the comic store. Ha! They didn't see me take that comic book. Serves them right. They shouldn't be so expensive. Oof. Snake Eyes, you're my favorite G.I. Joe. But why are you staring at me like that? I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have taken that comic. Stealing is wrong. You're right, Snake Eyes. If it's worth having, it's worth getting the right way. I'm going to go return the comic and apologize. Now I know better. Thanks. So the kids
come that solves the question, where was Snake Eyes?
Yes.
He was at the freaking comic store.
I mean, why wouldn't he be? He accomplished as much as the other Joes.
You like this art style, by the way, in the next one?
I love it. I was going to point it out. Like,
okay.
I don't think I ever saw this until I got the trade paperback. But I definitely
it's such a different take on all this stuff. Super creepy too, you know.
Yeah, it's very different. So I'm definitely going to check out Tim Lady here and see what else he's done. Because I think that's super cool. I like it a lot.
I like the one on the next page better, personally.
This one?
Yeah, just because it's so comical. Well, I like to imagine my genie is Will Smith, by the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the cover I got on the when I was picking up the single issues. All right, so Mainframe was able to triangulate where the bats were coming from and found it a little island close to Guam, because we always pick on Guam, right?
It's a fun country to say.
Yeah. So then she's kind of briefing everybody, talking about the good news, bad news. They found out where Cobra's hiding, but they have Duke. So Mainframe sends off the coordinates, and they're putting together a team of Quick Kick and a bunch of guys that's names start with S: Shipwreck, Snake Eyes, and Spirit.
What was the deal? Because they referenced all the S's. Like, what was the deal with that? What was?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just another.
Someone said, "Oh, it's all the S guys," and I didn't even know what that meant for a second. I didn't get it. And
yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a Quick Kick joke or what, but they did point that out. But they're the only ones close enough to get there initially. All the other Joes, it's going to take them 24 hours to get there because of where they're at around the world. And she's taking Mainframe with him. And of course, he asks if he can work remotely. And she says no, because, that's what IT guys do.
It's kind of a slice of modern day life.
Yeah.
Like, listen, there was COVID. I'd like to work remotely. I'm like, I don't know what you're going to be doing, Mainframe. I don't know if you're actually working.
Right.
So,
and
then
later,
said, you know what? You can only go if you change your name to Mainframe. Because the S.
Right. But we get back to Cobra Temple, and we have one giant bat outside. According to our count earlier, we should have at least two. The one that flew back from Tokyo, and the fourth one, right?
Oh no, that is the fourth one. Because
so the one that flew back hasn't arrived back yet, maybe.
It takes 24 hours for him too.
He's a slow flying bat. Yeah.
Don't they have a shuttle at this point, or no?
I don't know. I mean, who can keep track? But we have Duke in the middle of the gladiator pit, which is not the first time in the cartoon that's happened. He's at least one other time, maybe more. And he notices the genie in the box. So they explain, yeah, I have a genie. And they send out the gladiators to fight Duke. And then, of course, gladiators aren't the real treat, but he has this giant beast that he sends out. And I wasn't sure if the gladiators and the beast were like late series toys that I wasn't familiar with, or if it was just
I assumed it was something that is just for this, because I thought about that too. Like, is that a character? And I was like, no, I think it's just like how the genie is an existing mythology, so is gladiators in a pit. But
I hope so, because that means that I don't have a lack of knowledge on this. But they do. I don't know. This looks like something that would be in like the Manimals at the end of like.
Do you have a name in this or no?
No.
It's not like they're like, oh no, it's Greg.
Right. No.
It's not Greg the Beast.
No. And then meanwhile, the bat's still standing out there all lonely. The Joes arrive on the beach.
Shipwreck got his hat back, by the way.
Or
a new one, because it burned.
Yes, I'm sure it's a new one. But then we have them arrive, and we have a line of Cobra dudes.
One of my favorite panels in the whole book is that top one there.
Yeah, and this was another one of, I mean, throughout the whole thing, where like I could hear the voice, but this was another one too, where Storm Shadow talks, and like I hear that Storm Shadow voice. Which I don't normally do reading a real American Hero comics. So this one, again, with the art style and the story and stuff, I think just put me into that cartoon world. But then we get Storm Shadow Snake Eyes fighting, which was somewhat rare in the cartoon. It was always Storm Shadow against Spirit for some reason. And Firefly. Yeah. And back at the pit. So now the gladiators are helping Duke because their lives depend on it, I suppose. But the beast picks one of them up and uses him as a weapon to hit the other one. It's a pretty awesome move.
That was Greg, yeah. The Beast.
Greg.
Yeah. Greg the Beast.
Okay. And then Duke, a great line from a leader. Why can't it ever be Flint getting stuck in this stupid arena?
Yeah.
Like, awesome. Throw one of your soldiers instead of you.
Well, and to be fair, it's like in the cartoon, they always made Duke the superhero. And that was, even to me as a kid, being like 8 years old, it's just like, you're not making me like him more.
Right.
You're making me like the other leader more. And that's exactly the kind of line for it to fit that. But it is also a dick line anyway. So
Yes, for sure. Then he takes this giant leap into a somersault thing to pick up the net that one of the gladiators dropped. He's a very clever guy, this Duke. I guess it's another giant leap into the air. So then he's riding the bull and pissing him off and directing him towards this wall where the bull takes himself out.
I'm surprised he didn't do Cobra Commander. You ever try to grab the bull by its horns?
Yeah. And then Cobra Commander is ready to use his final wish. So initially he wishes for all the members of G.I. Joe become true loyal members of Cobra. And Janie says, I can't do that. I already explained these rules to you.
Again, I don't think you mentioned the rules, Brian. So the rule of the genie was whatever you want, and then literally whatever you want, but I can't change someone's like not emotions, like their feelings.
Feelings. I think feelings can't bring people back from the dead.
Oh yeah, can't bring people back from the dead, and you can't change their like true feelings for something.
Yeah.
There were rules set in place though that he reminded him of.
So of course, this is always a horrible idea when dealing with genies. Cobra starts ranting. You have the power to do what I ask to end the conflict between Cobra and G.I. Joe so that I may go on to my rightful place as ruler of the world. You got to be very literal and precise with your wishes here, Cobra. And of course, he finished it off. And I demand you grant my wish. Oh, so now that whole rant became a wish. So now we don't know what the genie's going to do. And we have Firefly fighting Quick Kick.
Good one. A lot of Quick Kick in this whole series.
Yeah, I mean, he and do know he was a lot more prominent in the cartoon than he ever was in the comic. He didn't last too long.
Yeah, I just don't remember that in the cartoon. So.
Yep. And then Shipwreck, or I guess Firefly's talking about Quick Kick talking too much, so Shipwreck kind of backs him up. Hey, he's right. And Spear's like, you should be one talking about talking too much.
Yeah.
Which, fair point. Then we have this super awesome page.
Like, speaking of not talking, Snake Eyes!
Right, yeah. And we have the whole just the ninja battle as it played out.
Well, and also that top part, the kind of the duality of sorts. Yes. With good stuff.
Yeah. And I don't think it was ever really touched on too much in the cartoon that they were sword brothers and they have that like history. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
The cartoon never get into like past and hardmaster and that kind of stuff. Was that never really a thing?
I don't think so. Maybe I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, leave your comments down below and tell me which episodes to watch because I have them all now. I just need to sit down and watch them.
If the comic's coming to an end, maybe we should all just get hooked up to the cartoon again and give us something to check out until the next phase.
Yeah, we could do like a Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I would love a watch along.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, we might have to work on that. That'd be fun. But yeah, you have the ninja battle that you don't see too often in the cartoon. Then a bright light shoots out of the Cobra Temple. Everyone's confused. Everyone stops. But then you have like everyone running away. Like a Firefly takes off. I'm not going to stick around to face it. Storm Shadow takes off. And the genie, I warned you. You could have wished for any number of things, yet your naked ambition clouded your mind. And Cobra Commander at this point has got to be wondering, what did I actually wish for? Like, I was just ranting and blowing off steam. But
I don't think, at this point, Cobra Commander thought he asked for still the Joes to be on his side, or no?
I think he thought that he demanded it, so it was going to happen now.
Like, so his demand, like that, like overrules the rules.
Right? Yeah. I asked nicely to begin with, or somewhat nicely, and that didn't work. So now I demand it. So, oh, that worked. But then you have Baroness being sneaky and smart here, like thinking she's going to go for the lamp. And the genie lets her know that any member of the gijoe or Cobra team take the lamp from me until your differences are resolved. So no Joe or Cobra can take the lamp, which I don't know how the genie can make those kind of rules or special abilities, but he's a genie, so I guess he can. Speaking of which, so then he starts like transporting the Joes and Cobras around, like taking them, and he takes Cobra Commander and puts them in the front lines, and he's going to make them all fight. So then we have this awesome 2-page spread.
This is the moment where it's like, because then someone even references like where his playthings, like a chessboard or something.
Yeah. So this is it. We're ready to have the biggest battle ever with all the characters on each side. You know, it's not green shirts and Cobra troopers. This is the real deal. And the genie's basically threatening that they're going to have to fight to the death, so that way one side wins.
It was funny because first it felt like the genie was, all right, I'm gonna lock you boys in your room so you resolve your differences, shake hands. And then the next is like, the biggest battle ever to the death.
Right. Oh, we got a little beachhead popping up there.
Oh, I didn't even pick that one up.
I didn't look too closely at this page. I was so excited at this point, like, all right, the fight's going. I'm ready for it. And that's the end of that issue. So then we have another awesome PSA. You want to work through this one too?
Yeah, of course. It's, so am I the cat?
No. Do you want to be the kid or do you want to be Law?
I'll be the kid.
All right. G.I. Joe presents another shot at kindness.
Hey, watch me take the slingshot to this cat. Stupid cat. That was so. Huh? Oh my gosh. I gotta get away. Ah!
Order, and I don't like seeing people being cruel to animals for fun. I thought that was kind of weird. Like, why does that have to be for fun? Like, why couldn't we stop at don't like
seeing yeah, I didn't even notice that. Cruel to animals for fun. What if it's for money?
Right. You should always show respect for animals, especially if you're strong enough to hurt them. Order could have torn you apart. Lots of things could, but they don't.
I love that line, by the way. It's like you're a little bitch. And a lot of animals and people could have kicked the crap out of you right now. I never thought of it that way, Law. Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle. But seriously, I see you pelt anything else with that slingshot. Our next conversation is going to be different.
I love that one too. It took it a step further.
Yes, because I don't know have you watched the documentary Don't F with Cats?
Is that the one where like what they're thinking? That one? Is that?
No, it's on Netflix. It's really good. It's like an internet sleuthing, like solving this whole nasty crime. But that's what instantly what I thought here was someone messing with the cat. Like I thought back to that. It's on Netflix. You should check it out.
Check it out. Yeah.
Another cover image with strange coloring on the cloak there, and this is pretty cool. Just kind of sums up everything that's going on, the struggle over the lamp, even though that doesn't actually happen.
Right. And also Storm Shadow and Roadblock are like bros in that one.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. So then we introduce, or I guess catch everybody up that wasn't reading the other comics in the series so far. You know, we have the Joes on one side, the Cobras on the other, Genie in the middle, and we're going to get this whole conflict that we've had for years resolved right now.
You think now I see Dr. Mindbender, he wasn't in there before. She should be able to figure out how genies really work, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, he was a dentist, so I don't know how much.
Well, I mean, no one cares what you were. I mean, look at CoverGirl now.
Yeah, that's true. So then the genie decides they all need weapons, so they bring vehicles and all their weapons into the fight. So that way they're ready to go. But everyone's still kind of standing around like confused, which I understand the confusion there. A lot of them were just transported there and they're squaring off against their enemies. And Major Blood starts everything off. He goes in and starts attacking Joe's.
Cobra!
And we'll get Hawk here confused. I was at a briefing with the president.
I love that. It's such a like baller line, like, what is this? I was hanging out with the president.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Let me name drop the president as I mention that I'm confused.
It's like, so the president didn't know about this rogue genie creating this massive war? Because you guys are, hanging out? Okay.
Then we have Lady J here talking about how she feels like she's in the kid's sandbox right now, that she doesn't want to know what this kid does to his toys. I thought that was kind of cool because, you can imagine controlling all your toys and making this battle happen.
Yeah, that was kind of like where she's realizing that the genie is basically pitting us against each other for his own enjoyment.
Yep. And the Dreadnoks get their traditional weapons back. They discuss that and they're ready to go. And then I thought this was like Firefly had the smartest move of anyone else is getting ready for this battle. He's just like, this is stupid. I'm out of here.
Right.
Like, yeah, I hear you, Firefly. But then we find out you can't just run away. He gets instantly transported back because the genie's not allowing that.
Yeah, it almost had to have like that moment of someone's got to try to leave the bubble. Like like when we on a different show talked about the comic Black Hammer or WandaVision. Yeah. Like there's that moment of someone's got to try to leave the bubble so there is a bubble.
Yeah, you have to set the rules of the engagement here. So then he says, fine, since I'm stuck here, I'm just going to start killing Joes. Yeah. Like, all right. A for effort on leaving, though.
He could have shot Spirit right in the back. He would have done that if he wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, don't
Code,
make things...
Code of honor, be damned,
Yeah. Then we have Destro and Flint having a conversation back and forth over the radios in their planes. And Destro has come up with this plan where, the Joes just get the lamp. And then wish for this whole thing to go away, but he doesn't trust any Cobra troopers to do it, so they have this peaceful ceasefire. And
who started the conversation on this one?
Destro.
So why do you think he picked Flint? Is it like because he's kind of like not by the book a little bit?
I don't know. I think he was just addressing whichever Joe was in the Sky Striker.
Okay. And we got to see a Rattler in action, one of my favorite vehicles too.
Yes, yeah. The vertical liftoff was such cool. I never had one as a kid, but I had friends that did, and I was always jealous.
I had a Rattler, but surprisingly didn't have a Sky Striker. So,
yeah. So Flint's on board with Destro's plan. I guess he's going to go looking for the lamp, which seems like a solid plan. This was one of my favorite panels too. As we get back to the fight, we have some really cool people pop up in here. You have Toll Booth, who you almost never see. I had to kind of dig back in my memories to even remember his name. But then down here in the bottom corner, we have Shooter, who is awesome. Shooter, her name, well, I think it was he at first. I don't know. The name Shooter appeared in issue 1 of G.I. Joe, and it was kind of a joke referencing Jim Shooter, the editor. And then it wasn't addressed for years, but G.I. Joe fans wouldn't let it go. So Larry, and during the Devil's Due area, I think G.I. Joe Declassified or Frontline, one of the miniseries there that he wrote addressed Shooter and like brought her back as the female character you see here.
I didn't even know who that was. Is that Recondo on the right too?
Yes. Yep. And Major.
And Blowtorch on the left?
I think so, but the coloring's kind of different. Yeah. But I think it's Blowtorch. And Mutton Junkyard.
That's a good scene to get a bunch of, and even the one on the top right. That's another one of those just fun. Let's get everybody just to show you it's a big battle. Here's some scenes from some lesser followed character story.
Yeah, everybody's here, even if we don't focus on them. Like, get them all in.
It's also easy. Is that Snow Job or
yes,
across Snow Job, right?
Yeah,
and he's punching a Crimson Guard Cobra. Yeah, I like there's a reminder there. And who's that in the middle, by the way?
I don't know. That would be another one where I hope somebody does know and leaves a comment in the video, because I would like to.
I saw that and I'm thinking, I felt like, should I know who that is? And I felt dumb for not knowing that. So
I definitely feel like it is like someone that we're supposed to know, but I just don't.
Well, and if real American Brian doesn't know, I don't feel as dumb.
Well, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying I don't feel as dumb.
There's a lot of Joe characters to keep track of. So they continue on with their agreement. And the genie crushes the rattler that Destro's in, saying no fleeing, but Destro doesn't die. He just reappears back in the battle.
Yeah. He can control the teleport, or it's because was it by killing him that made him teleport?
Well, Destro was trying to flee, so I think the genie just teleported him back into the battle, similar to what he did to Firefly.
But I'm wondering, how did the genie destroy the Rattler, but Destro got out?
Well, maybe the genie transported him right before he crushed it. I don't know. Maybe we're thinking about this way too much.
I'm just saying, wouldn't the whole Rattler be transported?
I mean, that's not what the genie wanted, and we're all about what the genie wants right now.
Yeah. Looks like he also got the toy Rattler that you didn't get as well.
Right, yes. And Flint's sending out the message to all the other Joes, hey, get the lamp, we're going to get the lamp, blah, blah, blah. So now, in the middle of this battle, they're all looking for a very small lamp. And Doc is fixing up Quick Kick, but he's ready to get back into it. And
you're a big Doc Mark, though, right? Aren't you?
Not necessarily. I think he's an interesting character, but I wouldn't say I'm a Mark.
Okay.
I'm down with Doc.
Do you fuck with Doc?
Sure. Yeah, that's what the kids say these days, right?
All right, I'm not supposed to swear on the show. Sorry.
No.
But the kids are saying it, so I said it. That's all.
Yeah, it's what the kids say. So then, they get the message too that they're supposed to go for the lamp. So Quick Kick decides he's going to run into the temple and look for the lamp. And Genie's like, nope, no member of G.I. Joe or Cobra forces may pass these doors until the battle is won.
So he's just ahead now, the Genie?
He's whatever he wants to be. I guess at this point, he's just ahead for a little bit. And Quick, well, that's not fair.
That's not what fair.
The Genie's making the rules. He decides what's fair. And then Shipwreck comes in, having trouble getting in. Quick Kick. Maybe we'll have to knock a little louder. And they start attacking the Genie because, I don't know. I would think that even if I had these laser rifles that they have, I would say, as a Genie, it's probably not going to be very effective.
They even wrote on the top right, pew, pew, to show how ineffective it was.
Right. Yes. But then they have a little discussion here as the Genie yells at them and they fly backwards. He said no member of G.I. Joe could pass through those doors. So apparently Polly was never a member of the Joes. Yeah.
So when that line happened in the last panel, were you like, oh?
Yeah, I knew where they were going with it, but I was kind of sad.
Like, that's the catch.
Yeah, but I was kind of sad for Polly too. I was like,
you thought they did like a suicide mission?
Yeah, well, all the battles he's been in, he can't even be recognized as a Joe. Do any of the other?
So are you also thinking that Polly's going to die and never actually got any kind of battle honors or anything?
Right. Like Polly's family never got a folded flag.
I think it's pretty insane that they went with Polly, like just the name. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, and it was so crazy too. Like remembering back to the cartoon, like I would expect Freedom to have this mission more than Polly.
Or maybe, Shipwreck's like, I got an idea right here. And he's like, no, Polly, you stay with me. You're my animal life mate. Let's get Frank the parrot over. He's like, what do you need? Frank, we're going to send you in. Suicide mission? Okay. But Polly's safe. Just saying. Frank the parrot should have been sent in.
Yeah, I agree. Then we have Hiss coming through and blowing up a barbecue here.
Yeah, that was cool to see. There was several his scenes which I enjoyed.
Yeah. And I guess Cobra commanders decided to take to the air. He was done with that ground fighting crap.
Is that Death Copter or not? No. What's the helicopter?
I'm really not good with the vehicle names. I don't know.
I had one and I loved it. And I always wondered as a kid, like, we're not going to have any protection either. Okay. I'm not going to
Right.
be right out there.
Just open cockpit. We're cool. It makes it easier to jump out of when it gets.
That is true. Yeah.
And he gets shot down. And we don't see him jump. Oh, yeah, we don't see him jump out because we'll get to that in a minute. And the Joe's here. I don't think anything super exciting is happening. Just more of the fight going on. The Crimson Twins hunting down Joe's.
Quick kick again. To me, super OP in this whole thing. He's taking out both twins with one kick. Or was this the kick to the face and the other one feels it?
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
Because he's already kind of reacting to it.
Still, I mean, I haven't seen Tomax or Zaymot get a good shot on anybody. So
yeah, I mean, they had plans to multiple times, but you don't actually see them get that.
I just think Quick Kick's super OP in this issue. He's like Duke level powerful in this
one. Yeah, I agree with that. But then we see Cobra Commander did jump out, but he's stuck in a tree. Yeah. And all the Joes just stand up, kind of look at him like, again, we can end this terrorist organization real quick right now, but let's just all have a conversation about Cobra Commander being stuck in a tree. Yeah. And the Cobra Troopers come out and chase all the Joes off.
Oh, there's some Vipers in that bottom right scene too. The first time I saw that.
Yep. And Roadblock running away comically.
Was he running away or was he just dancing? What is that about?
I think he's leaping over that log. It's kind of like an Irish jig over the log.
A little bit, yeah.
But then back in the temple, we see Polly attempting to save the day. And the whole Cobra throne here almost looks like something that Jafar would have.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's intentional or not, but
why did it say Polly wants a cracker? Why did he?
I think to set up this other thing. So he was touching the lamp and he said, Polly wants a cracker. And then a cracker appears. So that was his first wish.
Oh, I completely did not realize that was a cracker.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought that was like a grate in the ground, like a
yeah.
Seriously, I had no idea that was a cracker.
Yeah. So then Polly looks at it and realizes Polly's pretty clever.
Oh, that makes so much more sense. I just thought it was like he's a dumb bird. He said his first line, and then he's like, Polly wants a shipwreck. Yeah. I had no idea. He was like, I made a cracker. Let's start with the cracker, see what happens. That makes so much. I had no idea. Okay.
So the shipwreck appears, and again, like, if the genie was trying to be a dick here, couldn't he do like a sunken ship and just dropped it? Like, oh, there's a shipwreck. But no, Polly gets what he wants this time because that works for the plot of the story here.
So Polly's first wish, but he didn't say wish though. He didn't say Polly wishes a cracker.
Yeah, I mean he should, but
is the cracker the first wish and shipwreck's the second wish?
Yep. Cracker's the first wish, shipwreck's the second wish.
Oh my God, he's almost blowing it. Like those are two awful wishes.
Not the best wishes. So then Shipwreck takes the lamp, and he decides. Which again, we set the rules for the lamp earlier, where all three wishes have to be used. But now Polly got screwed out of his third wish because Shipwreck is taking over.
So maybe Polly isn't wishing. Maybe Polly's just teleporting. Like the cracker, I don't know, maybe it was in the
I think they're wishes because he says once each time.
But then why is it looks like his Shipwreck's being teleported just like he was teleported before.
Well, the cracker was as well, because I think the genie's just like manifesting.
Maybe the cracker was in the break room. You don't know that.
I don't know that.
You don't think using the lamp maybe just lets you have genie-like powers so you can do the teleport. Because I don't think, notice when Shipwreck gets the lamp, you get the genie coming out of it. That's how you do wishes. You don't get wishes without the genie giving it to you. So I don't think those are wishes from Polly. He didn't say wish, and the genie's not there.
Maybe the rules are different if an animal touches the lamp.
I don't think they're wishes. I think it's just straight up, I can get power with it. Not a wish, but I can bring something to me. So.
Well, I disagree. I think they're wishes, but again, it's another chance for people to comment down below to see what side they're on. Are they wishes, or is Polly manifesting the genie?
If you want to go literally, Brian, these aren't wishes, these are wants.
That's very true. Yes, I can't argue with that. But yeah, moving on, we get Shipwreck making his wish, or Genie asking what he wants to wish for. I wish that everything Cobra Commander wished for was undone, and then I wish that once this is all over, no one can find your lamp for at least 1,000 years.
Just 1,000.
Yep. Granted and granted, no one shall remember any of this but you. You still have one more wish left.
Wait. What is this line all about? I always love having a secret. What is that line?
I don't know. I think that is very open to interpretation.
Is that like when He-Man, only 3 people know my fabulous secret?
Maybe it could be something very similar.
I always love having a secret. I don't remember Shipwreck as like secret keeper guy. So
no. And then here's the Genie too making this line: "You must make your final wish before I can depart." So again, going back, Polly didn't get his 3rd wish, if we're calling these wishes.
Yeah, I'm not, but you are. Yeah, okay.
So Shipwreck scratches his chin. So what's his 3rd wish going to be? We don't know.
You know, he could say, I wish for Scarlet naked in front of me right now. Yeah. That's not his thing.
No, he's a man of secrets.
Yeah.
So then we have some static here, and then I guess we've gone back and we're in the Cobra Temple, and this is set back to when Cobra shot the antique, and now there's no lamp in it because everyone's forgot about everything that's happened. And yeah, Baroness and Destro talk about having deja vu. So we know that none of this actually ever happened, and Shipwreck's the only one that has any memory of it. Then we're back on the flag.
It's like all his own, it could be like his own dream. Like we don't even know this is real or not.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say?
So to your point at the beginning, it's not in the continuity. Never happened.
Yeah, sure.
Never happened.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. So we're back on the flag, and we got a little poker game here with what all the S's and Quick Kick again, still hanging out in their little squad. And Shipwreck is cleaning up. And they're talking about it, and you kind of gather that Shipwreck wished to be lucky for a long time. How long, I don't know, but he's on a lucky streak.
Really, I mean, it could have just been, you're looking, maybe, want to bet, I'm lucky forever. My thought when I read that is, they're going to do more of these, and that's going to, but I don't know. It seems
that could have been one story.
The moral of the story is Shipwreck is a greedy person.
He could have wished for so many good things.
He could have said, I wish for Snake Eyes to be able to talk again.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, I'm gonna wish to win at poker. And
I mean, his
steal money from my friends.
His first 2 wishes were like good things globally that weren't selfish. So I guess it's okay to save 1 wish for a selfish reason.
Yeah, I guess, but you should have. I don't know. And also, if you're lucky, you're not going to win every hand, though. Like he could have said, "I wish to win every hand in poker." Now, I'm lucky forever. There's also skill. What if he can be the luckiest person ever, but if Quick Kick has skill, he's going to win some hands, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, Spirit and Snake Eyes still have some chips left on the table, so maybe they had some hands where they outplayed him.
Oh, that's true. I mean, Quick Kicks. Yeah. Okay.
But that ends our adventure, so that's where it ends. No one remembers it but Shipwreck. And we have one PSA to close everything out.
Is this a weird one, or is it just me?
This was of the four, this was definitely in fourth place. It was pretty strange.
I just don't get the. I mean, I guess we can play it out, I guess. So, Lady J, in this story, you saw the G.I. Joe team pull off a big win through pure luck. Luck is useful, and you can't count on it. You should always have a backup plan in place to make sure you can accomplish your goals.
I'm sorry, I forgot to make reservations, Lady J, but I rustled up a couple of MREs. Do you want the pot roast or the chicken a la king?
That's Flint's, and took the beret off, put a little tuxedo on, and made sure your backup plan is a good one. Now you know, and no one's have to battle. Lucky me.
Yeah, I don't. This one kind of fell a little flat, but they all can't be home runs.
No. I would say, yeah, if we were to rank the PSAs, Internet Kid 1, Cat Fighter Kid 2, Snake Eyes Comic Store 3, and this one 4.
Yeah, I would have to say that.
I thought it was weird to have Snake Eyes at the 1. You're right, Snake Eyes. Like,
yeah, I mean,
maybe if you would have shown him a picture of like a mugshot of the kid's dad, like looking at him like, this is what you're going to be, but not saying that, just kind of like, and then it's like, you're right.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Snake Eyes in it, I was like, oh, this is a clever gimmick, but it's not as cool as Internet Kid or the Slingshot Cat. So that's the end of that, and we have a little cover gallery of more cover options.
I'll look through these here a little bit. This first one, you've got, is that Cobra Commander hanging on the back of the, that's not, what is that?
Trouble Bubble?
Oh, that's a trouble. Oh, I missed the window there. I see it now. Yeah. It's hanging on the back of it instead of commandeering it for his own use.
Yeah. And this, with Statue of Liberty, kind of reminiscent of the movie opening.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but kind of given that feeling.
I don't know why they had Destro fighting Duke, because Destro's the one who established peace in the whole story, but okay.
Yeah. And then Billy Penn doing like a VHS rental type thing, which is kind of cool.
This is actually one of my favorite ones, surprisingly.
Yeah. Billy
really,
Penn's really good. I like him. And another one. And here we go. Here's my favorite one.
Did you like that Pharaoh P one before that? On the right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of
it's like video game style, like,
Yeah, so there was a new young adult novel that was released not too long ago, and this kind of looks very similar to the cover art on it. I wonder if it's the same person. I haven't read it yet. It's on my Amazon list. I'll pick it up.
And your favorite one here.
Yeah. Yes, and then for sure the rock band with.
So we had Duke on lead guitar here, and I don't know why he's turning the volume knob or the tone knob instead of hitting the strings, but maybe it's the whammy bar, maybe? It's hard to tell there. Rock and roll.
I think it is.
Yeah, whammy bar maybe.
Yeah, I think the tip of the whammy bar is under his thumb.
Rock and roll is on bass, which I would think rock and roll would be on guitar. Is that Breaker on rhythm guitar there? Or no, that's he's in camo.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is. Is that Grunt, maybe?
I don't think Grunt wore camo.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But rock and roll had the
custom. There's a mustache there. Could it be Recondo? No, there's not. The hat, it's the helmet, not a hat. So, yeah. Sure. And Shipwreck on drums with his tongue out, losing his hat because he's going nuts. Polly on the maracas up there.
Yeah, and it gets cut off in this, but you have Scarlet, Lady J, Scarlet on keyboards, and I forget what Lady J is playing. Probably the tambourine.
Yeah. Which is kind of like, what do you got to give them girl instruments? Come on. Put a girl on guitar. Come on. I like it. I don't think it's not my favorite in there, but I think it's cool for what it
Yeah,
is.
it's just so different and fun. You wouldn't really see it on any other book. I don't
I
think.
wouldn't mind seeing the full image like on a t-shirt. It would be kind of cool.
Yeah, maybe like some kind of concert poster or something.
Or like in like Metallica font, and it's like Joe Metallica.
Yeah.
And then the one on the right is that's I don't know, kind of drawn a little weird for my taste, Duke. That last one.
Yeah. And I don't really like that. I don't know. Yeah, I could take it or leave it.
Okay, yeah.
It's not my favorite by any means. But that is Saturday Morning Adventures. We have dug through it completely. I think you could tell that we both had fun going through it, but it's important to know like an official rating. And you, on the last episode that you were on, we mentioned how many firsts that you had. You have another first, a couple more first. You're the first repeat guest.
Yes.
And you're also the first to be able to say what the ratings are. I've used the image on the last video that I had like this, but we didn't know what the name was yet. So we're going to rate this 1 out of 5 flag points.
And no points or full flag points.
No,
You can't
do
cut it in
halves.
half. Oh, you can. Okay, that's
Yep.
so flag points. That was what you would cut out to send in.
Yeah. So to get your Sergeant Slaughter or your Fridge.
So I got here's the ones I remember. I got Sergeant Slaughter, Hooded Cobra Commander, and for some reason the Manta. I like clearly a lower, and then not happy that it didn't float in the bathtub too well either. But yeah, so Cobra Commander, Sergeant Slaughter, Manta.
Yeah, the only ones I remember getting are Sarge and Fridge. I don't know if I got any.
Oh, Fridge, I had two. I forgot he was mail away. You didn't get Hooded Cobra Commander or no?
No, that was I don't think that was available anymore by the time I was getting them.
Okay, yeah, that was a good one. I always like. I will do a figure episode. Hopefully, I could be on a figure episode one day.
Sure. Yeah, the only Cobra Commander that I had was the Battle Armor Cobra Commander.
Oh, the later one, right? From like 87, 88, that kind of time.
Yep.
I always like the idea of having a figure that my friends probably didn't have. Not to like brag, but just to be different, to have a different thing.
Yeah.
So as far as flag points go, I liked this a lot. I'm going to give it 5 flag points.
Okay.
First 5. That's another one. Thank you.
I also really liked it a lot. I thought for what the goal was as a Saturday morning like cartoon thing, it was perfect. Like it's hard to find any flaws in it. The team that did it knew exactly what they're doing and did it very, very well. I'm going to give it a 4.5 flag points.
Very good. Are you going to be a little stingy with your 5s? Let me just ask that right now.
I'm going to be a little stingy on all my ratings, actually.
Okay. So you're saying a 4.5 is really good in the real American Brian world.
Yes, and the caveat for this book is that I'm judging it based on what it was intended to be, and what it was intended to be, it did phenomenally well.
Same here. In fact, I'll even take it a step further. The reason why I say it's a 5, which in a sense, in my opinion, means perfect, even with the jokey stuff that we didn't get here and there, it's the cartoon. You can do whatever you want. So even the inconsistencies and the questions, it doesn't matter. It all works. So to me, it was perfect.
Yeah, definitely very happy with it. So that is G.I. Joe Saturday Morning Adventures. Thank you for being on again, Jonny. I'm sure you will be on in the future as we get more and more episodes and talk about different things.
I can't wait. Well, now I know.
Now you know.
And
knowing is half the battle.